Well, Mickey McBride wanted a symbol. Well, all teams had a symbol or a logo or a letter. Like the Cleveland Indians have their certain kind of C, and it's different than the Cincinnati Reds, and it's different than the Chicago Cubs. And he wanted a symbol or a logo. Well, think about it. If you got a team called the Browns, what kind of symbol or logo would you conjure up? A picture of Paul Brown? Maybe something that came out of the oven with walnuts? I can tell you Steeler fans would think it's a big pile of dog poop. That'd be the logo. So he couldn't come up with a logo, but he knew of a character that is in English folklore called brownies. Now, brownies were invented in northern England to convince children and servants to complete their chores. All throughout history, they've invented stuff like pixies and gnomes. Take, for instance, if you're in your wagon and you're traveling from point A to point B, and your wagon needs a couple of boards, and you're going across a bridge, and you stop and get out your crowbar and your hammer. Well, if you knew there was a big hairy ogre that lived under the bridge that was going to get out and just knock you around and have horse meat for supper, you continue on your journey and just bypass all that. So brownies were invented so that when Englanders gave their children chores, if they knew somebody that was hidden and invisible that only came out at night could watch them during the day, they were more inclined to do it. Or if they had help, they were more inclined to do it. So he came up with the brownie. Well, Paul Brown was in everything in the team. He coached Massillon in earlier in his career. If there was a stapler to be bought, if there was a chair to be bought, Paul Brown gave his approval on it. He hired and fired. The owners allowed him to do that. They wanted him to do that. He was the GM. He was the president. He owned 5% of the team. And he formed this team into his own image. He chose orange and brown as their colors. He chose what the helmets would look like. And so every aspect of it, well, Mickey McBride came up with this brownie figure from folklore. Well, when Paul Brown coached Massillon High School, they were called the Massillon Tigers. Their colors were orange and black, and that's where Paul Brown liked the color orange, and that's why the Browns have orange. Well, at some point when he won his first state championship, the school hired an artist named A.D. Small to do a nice plaque for him, state championships, and I think he was even national championships, to commemorate and give Paul Brown this commemoration on this. Well, so Paul Brown knew an artist. He commissioned him to come up with a logo for Massillon High School that was a tiger running the ball named Obie. Have you seen Obie?
Oh, I know Obie. I'm married into Obie life stuff,
are
man.
You?
Oh, yeah. I had to go to the parade last week.
Yeah. Do you know what Obie stands for?
My wife has told me, I want to say my wife has told me it before, but yeah. I don't know.
O and B stands for orange and black.
Is everything. Orange and black is everything?
I don't know about is everything, but probably.
The IE at the end?
Yeah.
OBIE?
Yeah. But the OB stands for orange and black, which was their school colors.
Right.
Well, he got A.D. Small to draw this tiger image. Well, Paul Brown knew that. He knew this artist. So he contacted him, and so it was decided that they were going to use this brownie folklore. He contacted A.D. Small. Well, Paul Brown, his last year of Massillon is when Obie became a mascot. I think it was 1940. Mm-hmm. So what happened is he just gave A.D. Small this brownie creature, and Small made Obie into Brownie.
Very cool.
If you look at the logos, they're almost identical. Mm-hmm. They're both wearing something on their head. They're both running. They both have the football in their left hand. They're both stiff arming. It's Brownie is Obie. So that's where that came from. Did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that, and hopefully my wife isn't watching this because she'll be saying that to Blake every time she sees him.
I'm a Massillon football hater.
It's fun. It's very, very fun.
So now how Brownie got his official name, okay? Brownie is a brownie. He's not an elf. Way back when, now we think of elves as Santa's helpers or the Keebler cookie, you know, real soft and cuddly. But brownies originally were invented as mean, hateful. They'd put spells on people. They'd make your cattle sick. They'd make people sick in your house. Brownie is not an elf. Brownie is a brownie. I don't know at what point he became, but originally he was called Brownie Elf. But he's not an elf. It's not the Cleveland Elves, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
So if anybody ever says, why do they use the elf as a logo for the Browns, we say, it's not an elf. He's a brownie.
He's a brownie. The very first advertisement was in a Cleveland Plain Dealer 2 weeks before their first game against the Miami Seahawks, September 1946. It's got the picture of Brownie stiff-arming, and the caption says, "The Brownies are coming." And it talks about Cleveland Municipal Stadium and et cetera. Their very first program shows Brownie, that same Brownie, with a stiff arm. It's the exact one that was in the newspaper ad. And for the longest time, for the first 3 or 4 years, that was the only logo. Mm-hmm. Now, later they came up with pennants that showed Brownie as a quarterback throwing the ball, and then they would put him in position. The one that we see most generalized is there on the pennant there. Mm-hmm. Well, he's just standing there. But everything about him, his clothes, his belt buckle, his hat, his little cloth booties, all of that is from English folklore of what a brownie is, and not an elf. Elf looks completely different. Now, elves had pointed ears and folklore, but elves, brownies also had brown hair and dark kind of brownish skin. And the reason behind that is they had brown hair is because of the region they were from. Mm-hmm. In northern England, there weren't people with blonde hair. There weren't people with red hair. Everybody had brown hair, English people. So that's why they looked that way. So now the creature has to have, so Mickey McBride now had a symbol. He had a brownie that he'd call. And of course, you can't have it look cuddly because this is football. You can't call a team the Marshmallows and you have your team the Marshmallows or the chocolate chip cookies. You got to make him look mean and hateful. Uh-huh. But how he got his name was when Paul Brown lived in Massillon, back in the day, and I can remember this as a kid, downtown of different cities, soft drink companies would pay sign painters and they would paint advertisements on the side of buildings all the time. Coca-Cola, 7-Up, Yoo-Hoo, you name it. All these soft drink companies, well, for 30 plus years on the side of a building in downtown Massillon was an advertisement for Brownie root beer. Nice. And with Brownie root beer, it's got the original bottles. Now, we have a picture of what the Brownie root beer looks like today. Oh, cool. Okay. Somebody bought the recipe in 1995 and had been making this Brownie root beer since 1995, but the origins showed a brownie character on the bottle, and it says Brownie. And on the bottle cap, it's got Brownie root beer and the picture of a brownie. Well, Paul Brown had his thumb on everything, and he controlled everything. He wanted to make sure that if we're going to have a character and we're going to have a logo, by God, I'm going to be part of it, and it's going to be because I said for it to be. Because he lived in Massillon. In fact, when his wife, Katie, his first wife, Katie, passed away, she's buried in Massillon. When Paul Brown passed away in his 80s, his services were at St. Thomas in Massillon, and he's buried next to her. He went to Massillon Washington High School. He grew up in Massillon from like 4 or 5 and up. But he saw that Brownie root beer, and if you've got a Brownie character, name it Brownie. And that's what Paul Brown did.
Very cool. Very, very cool history.
That was awesome. I'm actually getting a lot of texts from people saying how much they're enjoying this. So thank you, Barry.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people in the chat are saying they like it. So awesome. So, I didn't know a lot of that stuff.
Say, is this root beer time?
It could be root beer time.
Could be root beer time.
And I've got a part 2 to the brownie story.
Okay, well.
While we're doing the root beer.
All right.
So you actually have brownie root beer? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you know I do. Barry might have hooked us up a little bit.
M. Night Shyamalan twist ending here going
Pass
on.
that around.
Now, did somebody bring an opener?
I did, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yay.
Oh, well played.
Yay.
So where do you get this stuff? Because this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
SodaEmporium.com.
So, guys, if you guys want some of this brownie root beer that Barry's been talking about, what was that website again?
SodaEmporium.com.
SodaEmporium.com. It's called Brownie Caramel Cream Root Beer.
Now, I've got my brother off there, and we got Kyle, so that's got to be passed around too, right? Did you bring 6?
No, I did not bring 6.
No.
That was rude.
That's just rude.
I know, thoughtless.
This guy comes all the way up from Florida, and you can't even bring him a root beer?
No, he's from Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He's all the way from Indianapolis, guys. Get the guy a root beer.
Oh, he does have a root beer. Okay, good. So
I'm being totally stupid and thinking you guys meant, did I bring 6 bottle openers?
Oh, no, I meant 6 bottles of root beer.
There you go.
Open yours up and let's crank this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's this part 2?
Let's take a swig first. Do you want to make a toast?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on real quick.
Yeah. Has this got alcohol in it? Are we about to get
No, sir.
Okay.
He needs
There you
the
go.
opener.
Oh,
Called
here.
Brownie Caramel Cream Root Beer since 1929.
Well, I already tried it, guys. It's pretty good. Make
What
sure
about
you
the
guys check
toast?
this out.
All right.
To the Browns.
To the brownies.
To the playoffs.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, everybody. We got a little bit more to go. Get your questions in the chat. We're going to do a Q&A at the end of this.
Ooh, that's good.
We want to answer all your guys' questions. So make sure you guys get your questions in the chat. We already got some. I got them queued up whenever we're getting ready to go.
I'll tell you what, I have not had root beer. It's been a couple years, honestly. I'm not a big root beer drinker, but man, that is good.
That's very
Yeah,
good.
and Soda Emporium's the only site that sells soft drinks that I have found that they got it.
It's very good.
Very
So
cool.
check this out, guys. And it could be good in any man cave if you guys got brown stuff down there.
So part 2 is when Art Modell bought the team in 1961. That he was the third ownership group, and up until that point, every ownership group that had the team let Paul Brown do whatever he wanted to. He hired and fired and just ran the team, and they didn't care. When Art Modell bought the team, Paul Brown owned 15% of the team at that point. He had already cashed out when McBride sold the company, and then he cashed out when this Modell, and there was a guy from New York. Modell was a secondary owner.
Odell's a curse word on this show.
Okay, okay. We'll call him that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that guy bought the team in 1961, the first thing that he did was he fired Browning. In fact, he is listed in the paper that said, my first rules of engagement that I'm going to do with the Brownies is to fire that effing elf.
Really?
Wow.
And he did. And from that point on until the Browns left for Baltimore in 1995, Brownie the Elf, the last time we saw him was somewhere down the river under a tent.
Jeez.
Just another reason to not like that guy, I guess. You know.
So when Lerner and Carmen Policy started the New Browns in 1999, they immediately put Brownie the Elf back on. In fact, I remember in 2003, their training camp ponchos that they wore on the sidelines in preseason had Brownie the Elf, and it was this one right here. There's a bunch of renditions of him, but that's probably the most famous. And if you notice,
Or the one on the surfboard, right? Like on
on
the
the, like the Honolulu.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Friends of the program.
Yeah, yeah. Which I thought I was the only one supposed to wear Honolulu today. You kind of jumped on that.
Did you guys talk that out? So you guys
No, we didn't.
Nope, didn't. I knew we were talking Brownie, though.
If you notice on Brownie though, his little booties, they're cleats on the bottom of them.
Yep.
And when you see him with the stiff arm, he's got one foot that's up, and it's like he's running real fast, and it's pretty prevalent.
Nice.
So, but Modell hated him, or that guy hated him.
Well, we hate him.
The wait is almost over. A new football season is about to begin. Get ready for the NFL Week 1 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To celebrate the return of football, DraftKings is giving new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. Want more action for opening night? Everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Get up 7, you win. Bet on any NFL team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.